Hello everyone, here in this practice we are going to learn how to use DML statements, insert, update, delete, and how to use also TCL statements, rollback, commit, and savepoint. Here we have 14 practices. Let us copy the first 3 practices to Oracle SQL Developer. Copy here. The first practice, create a table called my_emp. How to create a table will be discussed in the next chapter, chapter 12. Here just run the create statement as is. So as we can see, table my_emp created. We can use describe command my_emp to check the structure of the table. And here we go, we have 4 columns in the table: employee ID, name, salary, and hire date. The next practice, run an insert statement to add the following row of data to the my_emp table. We can use insert into table name my_emp, and we can put here values. The values are 1 John for the name, and for the salary 2000, and for the hire date 01 of February 2018. Once finished, run the insert statement, and here we go, 1 row inserted. In the third practice, run an insert statement to add the following row of data to the my_emp table, and this is the record that we want to insert. List the columns in the insert clause. So we want to insert a new record, but in this case we want to list the columns in the insert statement. So we want to specify here the column list: employee ID, name, salary, and hire date, and the values 2, and here Sam, and here 3000, and here 23 of November 2020. Run this insert statement, and here we go, 1 row inserted. So we have 2 ways to insert a record. We can specify the column list as in this example, or you can run the insert statement without specifying a column list as in this example. But the difference between this insert statement and this one, here you must provide a value for all columns. If your table contains 4 columns, here you must provide 4 values. But in the second example here, you can, for example, remove the salary from the column list, and you can remove the salary here from the values. Let us put here 3, and here, for example, Tom, and this is, for example, December. Let's try to insert the statement. As we can see, 1 row inserted. Here we specify 3 for the employee ID, Tom for the name, and for the hire date 23 of December 2020. For the salary, Oracle in this case will use null value. But here, if you try, for example, to remove the salary here, and you run the insert statement, it returns an error, not enough values. In the first way here, you have to provide a value for all columns in the table. But in the second example here, you can provide values only for the columns listed here. Let's copy 4, 5, and 6 practices here to the SQL Developer. Here, check the inserted data by selecting from the table. So we can use select star from my_emp and run this select statement. As we can see, we have 3 records. 1 for the employee ID, name is John, salary 2000, and here the employee ID 2, and here the employee ID 3, and as we can see here, the salary is null for the third record. In the fifth practice, open a new SQL Developer session. So we can use Ctrl plus Shift and then N. As we can see, we opened a new session. Make sure unshared. So this is how to open a new session in Oracle SQL Developer. Make sure you see here unshared. Otherwise, it's not a new session. So let's go back to the practice. Open a new Oracle SQL Developer session. We open a session and try to select the inserted data. Try to select from my_emp. Here from this session I cannot see anything, but if you run the select statement from this session, as we can see, the select statement returns 3 records. So this is because still we don't make the changes permanent. This session is the only session that can view the data that's inserted here. If you want to make the data permanent, you have to put here commit. So let's run a commit statement, and here we go, commit completed. Go back to the second session and run the select statement. Now we can see the data because we run a commit statement. That means the data now is permanent. If you try to run an insert statement in the second session, for example, insert into my underscore EMP, and here, for example, for name is test, salary, for example, 4,000, and this is 2019, and run the insert statement here. So one row inserted. Select from this table. As we can see, it shows 4 records. If you select from the first session here, select star from my underscore EMP, it will show 3 records. As we can see, it shows only 3 records because the record inserted using this insert statement still not permanent. So you must use commit to make the data permanent in order for the other sessions to see the new record. So we have to put here commit and run the commit here. Commit completed. Go back to the first session and run the select statement again. And here we go. This is the new record inserted by the second session. So as long as the inserted data not committed yet, the session where you run the insert statement is the only session that can see the data. Other sessions cannot see the data until you commit the changes. Let's go back to the practices. Let's copy the remaining practices here and put it here. Here in the practice 7, update employee number 1 and increase the salary by 500. Make the changes permanent. So we can run update my underscore EMP. We want to change the salary, set salary and increase it by 500 equals salary plus 500, where employee underscore ID equal 1 for employee number 1. If you don't specify a where condition, that means all salaries of all employees will be increased by 500. So make sure to put a where condition to specify exactly which record you want to update. Run the update statement, and here we go, 1 row updated. Commit the changes, commit, and as we can see, commit completed. Select star from the table my underscore EMP. This is the first employee. As we can see, the salary increased by 500. Here in the practice 8, run an insert statement. Insert into my underscore EMP, and we can specify here values. The record is 3, name is Tom, the salary 5,000, and the hire date is sysdate, which is a function that retains the date of the system. Run the insert statement. As we can see, 1 row inserted. Create a save point before underscore delete, and run this save point here. Save point created, as we can see. In practice 10, delete from my underscore EMP. We are assuming here this delete statement run by mistake. As we can see, 5 rows deleted. If you try to select from the table now is empty. We don't want to roll back the full transaction. That means we don't want to roll back this delete statement and this insert statement. We want to return to this point before the delete only. So in this case, we can just run rollback to save point and the name of the save point, which is before underscore delete. If you run this rollback statement, as we can see here, rollback complete. That means we return the table to the state before running the delete statement. So if you run the select statement, we should see this record. Try to select. Here we go. This is the record 3, Tom, and this is 5,000, and this is the hire date, which is the date of the system. Commit the changes, and this is commit here. Try to select the table from the second session, for example here. So as we can see, we have here 5 records, and this is the record we inserted in the first session. The last practice here, use truncate command to empty the table. Let's try to truncate the table using truncate command. Truncate table my_emp. Be careful when you use truncate command. Truncate is a DDL statement. That means there is no rollback. So if you run truncate table my_emp truncated, if you try to select from the table now is empty. If you try to do a rollback completed, but if you try to select, the table is still empty. If you run a truncate table my_emp to empty the table, that means the rollback command will not help you to restore the records back to the table. So be careful before using truncate statement, because truncate is a DDL statement and the rollback will not help you to recover the changes. So in this practice, we learn how to use DML statements, insert, update, delete, and also TCL statements, rollback, commit, and save point. I hope this video was informative for you, and thank you for watching.